Dean Skinner, and joining me as always is Captain Weeb. Say hello to chat, Weeb.
Hello, I'm in the middle of Fallujah, reporting live.
Oh shit, Fallujah. That's an exotic
Yeah,
place. I've never been there. What's it like?
I got shot.
Oh, okay. That's unfortunate. Now,
You shot me.
yeah, well, hey, misfires happen.
You aimed it right at me.
Hey, sometimes you just get caught in the heat of battle. Anyway, look,
Programmer
Programmer Chan.
Chan 25. Languages she can use: C, Python, C++, Go, Java, R,
She's a
Catlin, Rust.
programmer.
Whenever show off her
Wow,
employee ID,
titties.
top tier company. Good
Yes.
smell.
Good
MacBook.
smell.
Any
Her greatest
questions
asset.
about programming?
Oh boy.
Hey boss, let's go to lunch. Open-hearted. Good smell.
Good smell.
What the heck? Why are there even more bugs after I fixed it? Damn
Because
it.
you're a programmer with programming languages. Red Bull.
After Death March. Yes. Can you get me another Red Bull, please? Oh, I need more.
I need more Red Bull.
Yes. More energy.
Elden Ring meme.
McNostril.
That's right.
I am Melania, Blade of Mikla, and I have never known defeat. Well, you know what they say. There's a first time for...
Whoop.
Oh crap, she's so fast!
That knife is so small.
Gotta hand it to you. See what I did there?
She
eh?
is missing a hand.
You've got moves. But I've honed my skills. No matter what you try, I'll parry your blade. Ugh!
Oh, it literally used her feet.
I, Vlad von Karstein.
Time to learn about vampires.
Welcome thee.
The vampire.
The
The dead do not rest
My
easy.
name is Vlad von Karstein, and I want to suck your soul.
Implacable, dreadful.
Bleh.
The undead are among the most dangerous opponents in the known
Look at
world.
him.
Bound by the will of their vampire, they are a fell and mighty force.
So
They
the ones on the
cannot
horses
be
are kind of more of a
reasoned with.
problem because
They
They
cannot
bony
be
boys.
bribed. And they cannot be coerced. They know
kinda
neither
dead.
fear nor mercy. They need neither sleep nor warmth, drink nor wholesome sustenance. As they spread across the land, their ranks
That's not
swell
why,
with the
that's when it hits,
corpses,
quote-unquote,
and sometimes
sun.
even the spirits of their
Yeah,
slain
Steve von
foes.
Karstein.
Today we're diving into the dark and blood-soaked history of one of the most infamous dynasties in the world, the von Karsteins,
Oh, here we go.
and the bloody vampire wars they created.
They did. They did that.
These powerful vampires have left an indelible mark on the world, with their ambition, cruelty, and dark magic shaping the fate
Vlad
of
right
nations.
These
These beings are formidable in combat,
Sorry, his second
Isabella.
wife.
with strength and
Isabella, you're
agility
right,
that
that's
far
it. Yeah,
surpass
Isabella,
mortal
my
men.
God, you're right.
Yeah.
They
Hey,
can
better
raise
check
the
your
dead
vampire
to serve
privilege,
as their
son.
undying
Damn.
armies, and
I'll
bend
just go
others
stand
to
in the
their will.
sunlight. I can't.
You do that, lich boy.
Among
Lich
these
boy.
dark lords of undeath,
My name's
The
Gene.
von
I'm Magical
Karsteins
Bone Man.
stand out as the most
And a
notorious
warlock,
and
because I'm
ambitious.
multi-class, so I can put on flash.
This
Hey.
cursed bloodline has toppled kingdoms and plunged entire regions into chaos. First, we'll focus on the patriarch of this dreaded house,
Vlad, yeah. Kind of
Vlad von Karstein,
totally not Dracula.
the herald of the first vampire war, the one who damned the province of Sylvania to a cursed landscape,
Well, yeah.
and the one who came so close to overrunning the empire
Cursed or
and
made
imposing
better?
his will
Yep.
as a vampire
Made better.
emperor.
With the undead. Undeaded.
It is clear
Oh.
that power and strategy are crucial
God.
in any epic
An ad.
saga.
Oh
So
shit.
let's take
Darkness
a moment to
is
check
coming.
out Bloodline Heroes of Lithus,
Oh god.
where you can forge legendary heroes of your
Raid
own by
Shadow
merging the
Warriors.
ancestries
Look,
of
an
elves,
orc.
demigods, orcs, dwarves, lycans,
the
dragonborn,
noise that it
vampires,
makes
among others.
when it switches
Leveraging a
between
groundbreaking
characters
lineage
sounds
system and
like
stunning
some of the
3D
most generic
graphics,
noises I've
Bloodline
ever
elevates
heard.
the RPG and gacha game experience
Gacha
to new
game,
heights.
It's a
It is
gacha
absolutely
game.
free to play. Download it now using
Buy-
the link in the description or scan the QR
buy
code
our
on
game,
screen
please.
if you're
Please
viewing
buy
on
the
a
game.
PC. Create new heroes by marrying any two bloodlines
no.
of mystical
Oh,
beings to
no.
create over
Don't do that.
800 new fantasy hybrids.
Hey,
With the new
eugenics.
Guild War, players will have the opportunity
Yay.
to engage in combat
My
on brand new
favorite.
maps. Through the
Oh, look,
conquest of
boats.
territories and acquisition of rewards, you can construct the most exceptional hybrid champions known as Bloodcraft Legends. To celebrate the
Bloodcraft
second
Legends.
anniversary of the game, a series of exciting events and fantastic rewards are lined up
Join
for the
today.
Bloodlines
You can
vibrant
have
community.
Joseph Mingle as
The
a free
anniversary
hero.
introduces
That's right.
Lexiniel from Clan Arbiter.
Ever wanted to try
along
twin
with an
heroes?
exclusive main
Experiment
city
today.
skin for a visually stunning
hell.
experience. The event also features
hi,
strategic
Jenny.
battles in the Arbiter's arena, with
Oh,
special
hi,
fireworks
Jenny.
and torchlighting
Titties.
events,
Hi, Jenny,
and the
it's me,
ability to join the
Porky.
Convoke and the Scope
You
event
beat me
for
in the
additional
arena. I'm
rewards.
angry.
Download the game now for free using the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen right now. Inactive
I'm gonna say
players
something
logging
quirky.
back in will receive generous
Sorry.
return
I'm Porky.
rewards, including a mythic
Sorry.
level champion and various other items. The first 30 players who leave their in-game account ID and username in the first pinned comment section below will receive a free legendary female succubus champion
What?
and
Oh,
the Shoten,
titties.
one of the best
Titties.
warriors to
For
carry
free.
you in the game.
Wait, why does she-
Plus, you
wait,
can visit
she's
the
a
Bloodline
fighter?
Pop-Up Center
What?
today to get
That's not
lift
what she
bucks
should be doing
and
with
unlock
her
premium
hands.
content and items across the game.
Yo, what the
Everything from
fuck?
exclusive
Hold
gear
up.
to special upgrades. Don't miss out on our limited time top-up discount
Somebody
event,
check Gene's hard
offering up
drive
to 15% off to
I'm
enhance your
Jeffy's
gaming
smirking
experience with
revenge.
lift
What
bucks.
kind of
Thanks to
terrorist are
Bloodline
you,
Heroes of
Weeb?
Lithis for sponsoring this
Hey,
video.
hey. Fuck you, Jeff. I'll shoot you.
Vlad von
I'm looking right at you. I
was
can
the
shoot you
first
right now,
vampire
motherfucker.
Count of Sylvania,
Throw it around and die.
and
That's
founder
what I thought.
of the
Throw it
von
and die.
Karstein bloodline. He was a figure of legend, a vampire whose cunning and ruthlessness
I love that
were
art,
matched
though.
only by
Yeah, it's
his
a good art.
dark charisma. Let us take a moment to have
also
a
good
brief overview
Little
of how the
titties.
vampires came to exist, and how Vlad ended up being one of the most powerful amongst them. The origin of vampires can be traced back to the great necromancer
Yeah,
known as
sure
Nagash.
can.
He was a
that
mortal
one
priest
hoe.
in the ancient land of Nehekara.
I'm Nagash. Fuck you,
Nagash was
Nagash.
obsessed with the
Piece
matters
of
of
shit.
life.
I've actually
And
never
its
seen this artwork of him
inevitable
before,
decay.
though. That's funny.
What,
He had seen how
pre...
many
Free,
great
yeah.
Stank
warriors
Man?
Yeah.
and powerful men
Yeah.
had succumbed to an unavoidable fate: death. And he was increasingly interested in finding a way to avoid this.
Yep. That's all Nekakarans usually
He sought
are.
to achieve immortality through some dark and forbidden sorcery that he had discovered will
Dark
be
He ordered
his
captured by a
sorcery
group
off
of dark
Wish.
Yep.
elves.
Fucking dark elves.
After years of experimentation, he created the elixir of life, a potent brew distilled from human blood that granted eternal life. Neferata, the queen of Lamia, learned about this elixir, and a great
Fucking
interest
Lamia.
to learn more and even acquire this potent elixir grew in her. Ever since her youth, she had expressed her interest in joining the mortuary cult, but was dismissed by her father, King Lamizah of Nehekara.
Ramiza.
Instead, she was set to be educated.
Oh, they
on
got
how
that
to
Japanese
rule the
naming
city-state
convention.
of
Hello,
Lamia,
it's me,
to be
Jada
ready
Skinner, the
when
ruler
she
of the
came
Skinner
of age.
Kingdom.
That's right.
Like, you know, it doesn't have to be named after your last name, bro.
No. Behind every great man is a great
Through
woman,
political
and behind every
machinations
great woman is me.
and under the malign influence
And behind
of High
that
Priest
person is
Masori,
me.
Then me,
Neferata
me.
managed to get her hands on the most
I'm
potent
Genicus.
of
No, I'm
Nagash's
Genicus.
books of necromancy,
Look at this art.
and
Look at
pursued
this
her
dude.
own studies in the dark arts.
Vampire.
Eventually, she attempted to replicate the elixir of life. She
Look at that
reformulated
sick art.
and distilled the ancient alchemical. But, unfortunately, she was not as skilled at necromancy as Nagash himself.
Nope.
And her version was not as potent as the original. In addition, it included a side effect that would prove to be damning for her, and eventually thousands of others throughout history.
Vampirism.
After imbibing the elixir, Neferata no longer seemed to age.
Nope.
But she was possessed by a terrible thirst for blood. All who drank her version of the elixir of life were transformed into the first vampires.
Yep.
Instead of becoming superhumanly powerful and immortal, they became a type of undead that required the blood of the living to sustain themselves.
Yep.
Over time, many of the court of Neferata drank the elixir
I blame Gene. He did
and
it.
joined her as vampiric lords and ladies. She became the mother of the vampires, and thus was the dynasty of the Lamian
Oh, hell yeah. If she
vampires
looks like that, I'm all in.
into the world.
That's
They
the best art
were
ever
more
either.
cautious than Nagash. They went through great pains and precautions to conceal their new vampiric and blood-drinking practices from the other priest kings who had forbidden the use of dark magic across the lands. Concealing their true nature, the first vampires reigned like gods over Lamia. Vlad von Karstein's true name was Vashanesh.
Yep.
He was one of Neferata's disciples, and through work and loyalty, he impressed her, so much so that she granted him the last of her elixirs, turning him into a vampire. He was
so he's
well
Egyptian
known for
too.
his martial prowess
They're all
and his
Egyptian.
ruthless
Yep.
leadership. His skills and ambition made him a valuable ally to Queen Neferata. As a vampire, Vashanesh's power grew exponentially. He became an unstoppable force on the battlefield. His combat skills, augmented by his newfound immortality and vampiric abilities. He served Neferata loyally,
What a nerd.
helping consolidate her power in Lamia and expand her influence. However, the reign of the vampires in Lamia was not.
I'm
to
glad I had
last.
that muted.
Gradually, the vampire covens of the city
I
began
died.
to grow in confidence, and their excesses only increased. They would not submit to walk the earth like common soldiers,
No.
and
don't do
insisted on being born upon ornate thrones at all times.
Jenny, I wasn't supposed to tell you this, but
Hundreds
Porky's hired a
of
hit team
slaves
of
entered their palaces
specially trained
every
assassin
day.
pigs. Be careful.
and
That's
were
about
never
right.
seen again.
That sounded like a fractal.
Their
source.
increasing predation and the fear they inspired among the mortal populace eventually led to their downfall. The united armies of Nehekara, led by the
Nehekara.
priest kings of Hemri, rose up against the vampires in a bloody and brutal war. Thousands upon thousands of soldiers under the command of the priest kings fought the armies of Lamia and their vampire overlords. Despite their formidable powers, the vampires were eventually overwhelmed by the sheer number and determination of their enemies. During the fall of Lamia, Vashanesh fought valiantly, but was ultimately forced to flee. The city was sacked, and many of the vampires
Notice
were
that's
killed
better artwork ever.
or scattered
Hell
across the
yeah!
Look at that.
world. Neferata herself managed to escape, along with a few of her most loyal followers, including Vashanesh.
Not Rashamash. He's my
The Will
favorite.
of Nagash.
As
Here
they
we
were
go.
escaping and making their way to safer places, they were soon encountered by the Arch Necromancer himself,
Yup.
Nagash.
Steve Nagash.
Steve
The
Nagash.
Necromancer offered the vampires a special artifact. A simple, yet powerful ring that would bring them back from the dead at supernatural speeds, but would forever bind them to Nagash's will, and that of his most loyal follower, Arkan the Black.
Oh yeah. Never
Vashanesh was one of the vampires who accepted
Look at that
his
fucking
gift.
shoulder spike.
Yeah.
willingly becoming Nagash's servant.
I totally have a huge wiener. That's why I have the spike
vampires
stick as
were
well. The
art
mask.
100%
eager to
looks like
serve
it
as
was concept
Nagash's
art for
lieutenants
Total Warhammer
to gain
as well.
revenge on the
Yeah, I think
armies
so.
of King Alcatazar and his fellow priest kings, and to also fight to take the city of Lamia back. Nagash soon led the vampires towards fierce battles against the priest kings, fighting legions of Nehekarans in bloody skirmishes and full battles alike. The Vashinesh and the rest of the vampires who accepted Nagash's gifts were eager to serve. It did not take long for them to realize they were nothing but cannon fodder to Nagash.
Well, no kidding.
He threw them at his foes with little care if they survived or not. Soon, they resented their service to Nagash, but the ring forced them to obey.
Yep.
Vashinesh, however, was a clever man. He came up with an ingenious solution. The ring bound him to Nagash, so long as he was alive.
Yep.
So at the height of the great battle,
Oh, he's gonna get,
he allowed himself to be cut down by Alcatazar, who, with time, would eventually become the man to slay Nagash
That's right.
with a cursed sword,
Learned by Skaven.
granted to him by the
Yes,
Skaven's
yes.
shady
Yep.
Council of 13.
Because they got
Nagash-
Yep.
When Nagash was
The guy
defeated,
scared me.
Yeah.
the vampires were freed from his control. The many bloodlines soon departed, making their own paths in history. It took many years for Vashinesh to return from the grave. Though Nagash was already dead when Vashinesh returned to life, the ring still bound him to Arkan the Black.
Uh-oh.
So he traveled far away into the old world in search of artifacts to enslave the ring to his will, rather than the other way around. He ended up in Kislev, where he spent centuries testing the limits of the ring and studying the winds of magic. Calling himself Prince Vladimir, a minor noble of no great importance.
Yeah, you know.
No one knows how much time exactly passed, as the vampire experimented with the powerful artifacts and the manipulation of magic to unbind himself from external control. But eventually, he was seen in Sylvania. And at that point, he was now Vlad von Karstein.
Yep.
And he had his eyes set upon more than just minor nobility.
Yes, he did.
I am Vlad von Karstein. Choose thy words with care.
For
Because I am
centuries,
cool,
had
and you
Vlad
will like
von
me.
Karstein
Please.
sought after
Please,
satisfying
you will like me.
the natural
Please.
desire for power that all
Pretty
vampires
please, you will
have.
like me. Please, please.
Please.
For centuries, had he hid
Show
himself
Bob Vagine for
within the
Skeleton
many
Man.
courts of nobles from inside the human nations of Kislev and the Empire. For centuries, had he schemed and maneuvered his way to the top. For centuries, had he also restrained himself. But no more. In a
Now
display
he
of
is-
his political genius,
Oh boy.
Vlad had taken control of the province of Sylvania from the despotic Count Otto von Drac, who upon his deathbed had left no heir but his daughter, Isabella von Drac.
Oh, there she is. Nice shit.
Seizing his opportunity, Vlad
Nice
stormed
shit.
into their household, Castle Drakenhof, and presented himself to the dying Count and his daughter, citing his many noble antecedents. Soon after, he claimed the wide-eyed Isabella as his bride, and their
Oh,
marriage
nice,
ceremony
dudes.
took place in the same room where the dying
She
Count
is hot.
rested.
Hell yeah, I don't
Just
blame him.
like that, Vlad and Isabella
Vlad looks like
were in
he's
charge
like
of
he's a lead
Sylvania.
singer of
Vlad
Death metal
appeared
band.
just as strange as the old
She's mine.
Otto von Drack.
You can't have her.
He never ate
Right.
in front of his servants. He never traveled. Or, at least he was never seen outside in the daylight. Several of the long-serving keep staff were soon let go, and their places were occupied by enigmatic outsiders.
The new Count, Vlad as he's supposedly called, is a mysterious figure. We don't know much about him, and his foreign friends who come and go from the castle give me the
Are
chills
really
with their
foreign.
clocks and hoods.
Really
They speak
foreign.
in whispers, their eyes
Really
hidden in the
foreign.
shadows of their hoods, and they move through the shadows like ghosts.
Well,
The
they're
castle
vampires,
itself
so-
seems more
Oh,
alive
you
at
know
night,
about that,
with
actually.
strange lights flickering in the windows and
Maybe,
eerie
these
sounds
vampires,
echoing through the
so,
halls.
deal with it.
But
Like
for
it.
all the strangeness, life's been a bit calmer since he took over.
Oh, has
He
it?
doesn't impose the harsh taxes or random executions that we suffered under the previous count.
Wow.
There's a sense of order, even if it comes with an undercurrent of unease.
No,
Maybe
really?
there's hope for us yet.
No, no hope.
The people of Sylvania continued
hope.
with their everyday lives, disregarding the
Jerusalem.
foreign visitors of the castle, who were often cloaked and hooded,
Of course,
despite the
because they're
fact
vampires.
that the new count appeared to be less authoritarian than the previous one. They had grown accustomed not to challenge the actions of their superiors by years of harsh von Drack administration. For the poorer classes, the only
Bit
comfort
Ostermark.
was that the new count at least didn't
Another
order census
poor-ass
killings
province.
or demand outrageous taxes just for the sake of it. He ruled from Castle Drakenhof,
Here we go.
the ancestral seat of power for the rulers of Sylvania. The castle is a massive Gothic structure built from black stone,
Oh.
giving it a menacing and somber appearance.
Yeah.
With time, the castle turned to feature darker and more sinister figures, surely influenced by the rule of Vlad. Eventually, the architecture reached a point where it was a mix of practical fortification and dark, almost baroque ornamentation,
Well, yeah.
with
get that.
gargoyles and other statues adorning its walls,
Yeah.
seemingly watching all who approach with unblinking eyes. At the heart of
normal
Castle
scream.
Drakenhof lies the Grand Throne Room, a vast chamber with a high vaulted ceiling, supported by massive pillars carved with scenes of ancient battles and dark rituals.
Okay.
The room is dimly lit by flickering torches and chandeliers made of bone, casting eerie shadows across the stone floor.
Yeah.
Vlad's throne, a massive, ornately carved seat
Yeah, I'm sure
of black
Karstein's
wood
one
and
that's using
iron,
a lot of vampire stuff too. Maybe.
sits
I mean,
on a
usually there's
raised
there, why
dive
like old Christopher Lee
at
book
the
for
far
vampire.
end of the room.
But Karstein probably is from something like
It
that.
is
If
here
it's more
that
if
Vlad
it's Hammer horror,
holds
then
court,
100%.
receiving
Or that's where
emissaries,
They probably got it from.
issuing commands,
Gene loves
and
Hammer
plotting
horror.
his
Right.
next moves.
He was
With
actually in a
time,
Hammer horror film.
The relationship
the
between
Count of Monte
the now
Dixco
Isabella von
never got
Karstein
released for some reason.
and
I don't know
Vlad
why.
von Karstein.
He said he was
soon
filming in
grew
Italy.
into
For, I don't
something
know. That may be
more
something as well.
than just a marriage of convenience.
That's true.
Vlad developed a love for her, and when eventually Isabella wished for the blood kiss and to be converted into a vampire like him,
Oh boy, here we go.
Vlad refused to give it to her, as he knew the true, deep suffering of beings like him, and loved her far too much
Wow.
to witness her endure that.
Why, so I can just nip
Some
my
days later, however, Isabella had developed a rare terminal disease. According to the doctors who attended her heart had stopped. Vlad had turned the doctors away, saying that he would take care of her himself. Vlad knew that she was sick with the same incurable disease that had claimed her father.
Oh.
With much pain, Vlad had no choice but to
give her the
turn
kiss,
his lover
the vampire's
into
kiss.
a vampire, saving her life, but
Damning
at
her
a
soul.
great
Yep.
cost.
That's right.
Isabella declared herself fully recovered when she emerged in front of her people 3 days later. But from then on, she remained frail and pale,
Yep.
only emerging from her chambers by moonlight. With Sylvania under his iron grip and Castle Drakenhof secured as his seat of power, Vlad von Carstein's ambitions grew ever grandiose with time. His marriage to Isabella von Drac had not only solidified his claim to the region, but also brought him a devoted and cunning partner.
Yep.
One who he loved, now united in their eternal bond.
Yeah,
Vlad and Isabella became a formidable force.
Oh god, look at Vlad as he actually...
Their combined power and influence,
the true form.
unmatched.
He looks okay. That's both a vampire and not.
Wood. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Wood.
Over the years, more and more
Those
nobles
pre-Hammer films.
were beginning to be
The stories
seen
involve curses
less
and murders,
often,
but
their
not
skin
vampires.
growing
really,
ever
really
paler,
Okay, oldie stuff.
and their
He was
presence
very young in those movies.
being felt late into the
Okay.
dark nights
Still
of
probably from
Sylvania.
something called Karstein's, probably from something like that.
Accidents of all
The
kinds
Karstein.
happened all the time in the
It is
province.
Games Workshop. They love stealing.
But
so,
strangely
Yes,
enough,
they do.
only
From any place
those
they
who
can.
were against or declared
Oh.
their independence from the rule of Vlad suffered
Look at that-
rare,
look at that
Just
drip.
like-
deadly accidents.
right? I mean, just like how
With
Frank
time,
Herbert stole Dune from
all
Gene.
came to
That's right.
realize the dangers of opposing
I'm the
Count
one who wrote
Vlad,
I did.
and many swore their
All of it.
allegiance to him
He stole it.
Yep.
out of
He stole
fear.
it.
He did.
Slowly but surely, priests of Sigmar and of Morn began to withdraw from the province, being cast out,
Bold.
chased away, or assassinated. In less than a decade, Vlad had established a stronger hold over Sylvania than the Elector Counts had over the entire empire.
Wow.
We have much to discuss, and thou art most welcome.
Some people from outside the province even said that Vlad should actually be seated on the imperial throne
Wow.
because of his success as a ruler.
Damn.
Of course, they didn't know the true inner machinations at play during his dark reign.
No, really.
But worse was to come for Sylvania. A mysterious disease, similar to the one that had afflicted Isabella and her father, began to strike the other noble families. Soon enough, every major castle in Sylvania was inhabited by nocturnal, pallid individuals
Oh boy. They're
who
all vampires
ruled
now.
mercilessly and arrogantly. The number of missing people increased exponentially,
Well, yeah,
leading to the
he-
establishment of grim watchposts along the borders, restricting movement in and out of Sylvania. The sickness led many peasants to abandon their faith in the gods and turn to the cult of the arisen dead.
Oh boy.
The temples of the old world pantheons were desecrated and closed,
Damn.
without proper
Jesus.
burial rites. The bodies of the dead piled up along the roads, their tormented spirits left to roam without rest.
Well, damn.
The architecture of the region changed too over time, displaying ornaments and designs that referenced death. The greatest sign of the impending darkness came in the year 2000 of the imperial calendar,
Okay.
when a massive warpstone meteorite destroyed the Ostermark capital,
Oh, more time.
Mordheim.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
That's a spin-off game.
Once a pious city, Mordheim had become a cesspit of decadence and corruption.
Yep. Astro
The
happened.
meteorite left shards of warpstone scattered across the ruins,
It's a fun game.
attracting various claimants to the
And the
Imperial
one on Steam
throne,
is actually a very
and
faithful
nobles who had sent
remake
mercenary
of the actual
companies
board game too.
to gather the
It's fun.
mysterious
I
stone,
enjoy it.
hoping
She
to
enjoys
manipulate its false properties of healing or turning lead into gold.
Yeah, it doesn't do that.
Vlad von Karstein.
See, that's
quickly
that's
took
an actual
advantage of this
endorsement. Now, if you
chaos.
said Porky really enjoys
While
it,
others
I'd be
sought
like,
the
I don't
warpstone for their
know.
personal gain, Vlad sent
Oh,
his dark minions into the ruins to collect as much of it as
guy's a
possible
bit of a goober.
for grander ambitions.
A goofy one.
It would be
I've
another
heard.
decade
I've heard.
before the strange seeds harvested from that blighted city would bear fruit.
Is it Juicy Gumdrop? 'Cause that shit's
First-
pretty good.
At the start of
First
winter,
Vampire War.
in the year 2010 of the Imperial calendar,
2010.
Vlad began to take the next
Why would they
step
call it that? I mean, like
of
that.
his
that they're
plan.
they're just asking for a sequel.
After
Yeah.
killing the remaining living nobility of Sylvania,
Yeah, that
Vlad
art is
casted a
terrifying.
powerful spell, fueled by the warp stone he collected from the ruins of Mordheim. The spell flowed over the unguarded cemeteries of the Gardens of Mor, and in an instant, all throughout the province, the dead
Oh, God.
began to stir and rise from their resting places.
So yeah, in the canon ending of
Slowly,
Mordheim,
every single
technically,
corpse in Sylvania
the vampires
began
get
to
most of
move
the
towards
warp stone that's there,
Drakenhof
so I can do this.
to answer the
Yes,
call
yes.
of the vampire
Spoilers,
count.
they get the most of the warp stone. There are
With
rats
this-
there are scavens.
Vlad managed to bring the dead of the province
Kill the
back
bad
to
man.
life
Yes, yes.
as a horde of putrid
Oh wait, copyright.
slaves
No, no.
under
No.
his command. When it was all done, the invasion of the Empire of Man would begin in that same year.
Yep. Or die in servant.
Stefan Fischer, a witch hunter, was one of the very few to escape the
A more witch
cursed
hunter.
Sylvania. As he fled the province, he was picked up by a roaming band of vampires that sought to join the growing vampiric host of Vlad von Karstein, but was saved by a detachment from the army of Ottila III, Elector Countess of Talabecland. The armed force was sent to investigate the growing threat. All of this necromantic activity had not gone unnoticed.
No, people had noticed.
They were all warned of the upcoming danger by the witch hunter, who then joined the main army, led by General Hans Schleifen,
Hans
to face
Schleifen.
the growing undead force.
The gangster.
As
ass
the
helmet,
undead
though.
forces
Yeah, it is.
crossed the River Ster, they were met by the valiant and courageous men sent by Ottila at the Essen
Attila the
Ford
Hun.
in what would become
Ottila the
the
Hoe.
first battle of the Vampire Wars.
Yes. I'm very
The
clever.
undead horde blackened the horizon with its numbers. The cursed army marched slowly, their formations suffering catastrophic losses, with volleys of crossbow bolts and gunpowder fire tearing holes in the incoming mass of bodies. But still, the necromantic powers commanded by Vlad and his thralls was too much,
It's funny because it sounds like you said ass.
resurrecting every single
does.
loss they suffered, marching onwards without stopping. As the heavy Imperial cavalry struck the undead ranks, Vlad sprung his trap,
Oh, boy.
encircling the exposed Imperial infantry with the
With his
heavily
dragon
armed
knights.
Drakenhof Guard,
Yep. Oh shit, there they are.
leading a charge of Black Knights and Wraiths,
Oh fuck.
crushing
fucked up by
the
those.
Imperials.
Now you fucked up. Now you
got
fucked up.
Yeah, now
You have fucked up now.
You have fucked up now. You have fucked
Don't forget about his army of Ghost Reapers.
up. That's right.
I have not seen such a pathetic
That's
sight
not a pepper, Dean. Don't
since
get too
my
excited.
father-in-law
Oh,
Otto
damn.
took his last breath. Is this all that thine empire can muster?
Zen Empire. Vlad's not mad, he's just disappointed.
I had so much
The war
promise for you.
continued for another 40 bloody years
I'm not mad, just
after the
40 years,
events
Dave.
of the Essen
disappointed.
Wherever Vlad and his army went, their dark shapes put an aura of death and despair upon the Empire. The lands they traversed were left in ruin, villages and towns emptied
They
of
be
life.
vampires, yo.
Their inhabitants either slaughtered
Dark magic
or
isn't going to
risen
cast
to
itself.
join the ranks of the undead. The sky seemed perpetually overcast during these dark times. Throughout the war, Vlad employed dark magic and necromancy to devastating effect. His mastery over the winds of Shaiish, the lore of
Magic.
death, allowed him to summon and control vast armies of the dead.
Alrighty.
Entire cemeteries and burial grounds
We used to
were
have
emptied of
proper
their
art.
occupants, who rose to
Look at
serve their
that.
dark master. His lieutenants, powerful vampires in their own right, led sorties and raids deep into Imperial territory, spreading terror and
The
chaos.
The undead shall rule the world.
The thought of the undead army choking the Empire sent shivers down my spine. I fled to Altdorf, believing it would be safe. But now I see the fears in everyone's eyes.
Well, yeah.
Every
It's
night,
an army of the
we hear
undead,
rumors of
dingus. Of
villages
course
falling,
it's spooky.
and the cries of those who barely escaped the clutches of Vlad's minions. The city's gates are heavily guarded, and yet I can't shake the feeling that it's only a matter of time before the darkness reaches us here. No place
that
is
attitude,
safe
of course.
I mean, if they're gonna keep winning,
even
yeah,
here
they're
in
gonna
the
get
capital.
to eventually.
It feels like the darkness is closing in on us from all sides, suffocating us.
That's what vampires kind of do.
There's nowhere left to run.
You gotta kill it.
Even the once
kill the army,
bustling
though.
markets are now filled with hushed whispers and anxious glances, as if the shadows themselves are watching and waiting.
That's gross.
We're all just holding our breath, waiting for the inevitable.
Alright, I'll be right back again.
The dead far outnumbered the living, and the reanimated corpses of fallen soldiers swelled Vlad's forces after every battle. It was a war of attrition, where the Empire's losses fed the strength of the enemy. At the Battle of Bluthof, Vlad found himself impaled by lances, with the rune fang from the Count of Ostland buried whole within his heart. And yet
Vlad,
he reappeared
no.
3 days later to execute the prisoners in Bluthof. Whilst at the town of Bogenhofen, he led his undead army to victory after being decapitated by a cannonball only hours before. Each and every time, again, Vlad was able to rise back to life in order to kill his murderers and advance further into the capital of the Empire. The Grand Master of the Order of the White Wolf himself, Jarek Kruger, had killed
Kruger?
Vlad von Karstein in battle, only to be turned into a vampire by the Count as a grim revenge only a year later.
Ever.
100% original every time.
100%. OC do not steal.
You wouldn't
After
steal
multiple
from a
battles and
billion-dollar
encounters,
corporation,
It
would
at
you?
first seemed
Especially
like
if it's
victories,
British.
but were soon turned into terrible losses.
A British corporation at
All
that.
hope seemed lost to the Empire, as the undead army eventually began its slow march towards the great capital of Altdorf. When the army of the dead arrived in Altdorf, capital of the Empire, Vlad gave his ultimatum. Open the gates and serve him in life.
Or don't and die and serve
Or
him as a
continue
slave.
to fight
Yeah.
and serve him in death. Yet, the city would not surrender. They were well prepared for the upcoming attack, even against the dire menace the undead army represented. They had manned the walls and prepared as much as they could for the siege.
Oh, hell yeah, that's a dope-ass telescope.
The Grand
Yes.
Theogonist, Wilhelm III, high priest of the cult of Sigmar, isolated himself within the catacombs of the Cathedral of Altdorf to pray. When he emerged once more, he claimed that the Empire would be saved. Felix Mann, the greatest thief of the age,
Wow.
was a prisoner of the Empire.
Look at him. That's some good
But
art.
during this dire situation, he had been given an offer to go on the most dangerous mission of his life,
Yep.
or to be executed for his crimes.
The most dangerous
And
mission of
so,
all is to take Vlad's fucking
Felix Mann had
ring.
departed for Vlad von Karstein's encampment. In the middle of the night, the thief managed to slip past the undead encampment with stealth and treachery. His mission: to steal the magical ring
Yep.
from Vlad's
So
finger.
it wouldn't regenerate.
Felix Mann succeeded on his mission. And then he disappeared into the night.
Yep. Never returned.
It is said that Manfred von Karstein was the one that orchestrated this move in order to steal the power of the vampire count. Being unable to challenge Vlad himself, he chose to betray him,
Sounds
using
about right
his
for
own
Manfred.
twisted methods, and revealed the source of Vlad's immortality to Wilhelm. When Vlad von Karstein realized his ring had been stolen, he ordered an immediate attack on the city. He was beyond enraged, and he threw everything he had
I'm angry.
against Altdorf.
Everything.
The undead army advanced under the burning will of the vampire
Burning.
count. And
I'm on
great
fire.
siege towers made of bone and flesh, held together by dark magic, lumbered forward to the city walls in a slow but inexorable advance.
My sword thirsts, and so it shall be slaked in the blood of living fools that think to challenge the might of von Karstein. Let the slaughter begin!
The walls of Altdorf were manned by swordsmen, and the gates had been reinforced. The capital of the Empire would try to hold back the tide. The battle turned into a vicious fight for survival. The number of undead warriors proved overwhelming for the defenders. The men of the Empire fought with all their strength and valor against the horrors of the undead. The sight of fallen brothers in arms being reanimated into half-dead monsters was terrible for the living soldiers' morale. The shambling corpses of their friends and comrades,
No shit.
now
Yeah.
twisted into grotesque parodies of life, struck fear into even the bravest hearts. Time was vital, and with each passing minute, more men fell to the tide of death that the vampire count had brought upon the capital of the Empire of Man.
Gene, why did you give him money
Despite
to do
the
this?
fear and exhaustion they
that'll
fought
be funny.
on, driven by the knowledge
okay,
that
all right,
Altdorf's
that's
fall
actually-
That would be a,
would mean the
funny
doom
ring.
of the Empire.
That's funny. And look at it. It is pretty funny. Look at him.
Yeah, it's a little funny. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a little funny.
They shammed the zombies.
Vlad personally fought his way into the city, slaughtering all in his path. At the center of the vast struggle that engulfed the city, the Grand Theogenist clashed with Vlad von Karstein. Holy hammer against magical blade. After intense fighting, Vlad gained the upper hand. Wilhelm became tired, while the vampire did not. The vampire count eventually overcame him. Sensing that the end was near, and with his final dying breath, Wilhelm III charged his foe headlong and flung himself and Vlad over the battlements.
Yep.
The two fell together on a wooden spike at the wall's foot.
Yep.
Without the protection from his magical ring, Vlad von Karstein screamed in pain. This time, impaled in place, his body twitched and flailed until finally, Vlad von Karstein had died.
Yep.
With the Count killed, the armies of undead began to fall apart.
Yes, they do.
The dark magic that sustained them, fleeing from their bodies. The siege had to be lifted when the rest of the vampire counts began to fight amongst themselves for control of the crumbling army.
Yep.
Unable to face eternity without her husband, Isabella von Karstein impaled herself on a stake and withered into a pile of dust.
Yep.
Lizzie, no!
Vlad's corpse was buried face down in a coffin. The horrors of what would later be called the First Vampire War.
Yeah, see,
We're
the
finally
first,
over.
you
Yeah,
know,
the
see, I'm telling you, they're asking for a sequel.
They did. But they mentioned the Yep, they do. Fact check.
The First Vampire War and the rise of Vlad von Karstein is a story of power and terror. From his transformation into a vampire to his unyielding ambition to conquer the Empire.
Yep. Fact.
In our next installment in this series, we'll delve into the next chapter of the Vampire Wars, exploring the rise of Conrad
that
von
is.
Karstein.
Yep.
That's right.
We'd love to hear your thoughts
Vlad
on Vlad's
was
reign
his son.
and the First Vampire War.
That's the first one.
So drop a comment below and let us know your favorite part of this tale.
Titties.
if
That was
you-
my favorite part. Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
Speaking of titties, here we go.
Killer bee. High aggressive. Violent. Can kill human. Likes kill honeybee.
Yes.
You can touch
Titties.
my honey storage too if you want.
I'll do it.
I
I
don't
can fix
know what happened after that.
Wow.
Not
Okay.
just my look. My venom is also breathtaking too. Wanna sting something?
No, don't do it.
Yeah, kind of.
Alien beekeeper.
Alien beekeeper.
Recently, aliens come to destroy my house.
Aliens
Why?
from my house. 'Cause you're a giant killer wasp from Japan. That's why. Anyway,
You're a monster.
Dragon Tamer. It's been a while since we've seen this.
Hey,
You really want to get beaten up, dork.
What? You chicken? I'm not going easy, so be ready.
Go Mochi!
Grizzly Rampa!
And he got.
Is that all you got?
That was more of a teddy bear than a grizzly.
Damn.
Dang, you'll get her next time.
Next time in the future.
Still determined to get your ass beat, dork?
It ain't gonna end like the last time, that's for sure.
This is it for sure, Mochi.
Grizzly Rampage!
Literally the same.
It's at least his 800th loss.
What's wrong, teddy bear? I
Wow.
barely had to move a
Nice.
muscle at all.
That should have been me.
Anyway, now we got Seth, Here we go, Weeb. You know it's gonna be a fun time.
Woke up in a
Oh,
feverish
yeah.
sweat. It was another one of those nights. I had the same nightmare. Walt Disney let their intellectual property go into public domain. I
Walt
felt
Disney.
sick, but thinking of vomit made me think of Pepsi, so I held it in. My
Ladies.
diabetes was acting up. Pacemaker says I'm dangerously close to dropping below type 2. I needed something to
dangerous close
calm my
dropping
nerves.
below
A Krispy
type 2.
Kreme, Coke Vanilla, and a needle full of heroin. Just what the
Insulin.
doctor ordered. I think. We communicated through several language barriers, somewhere between the Aramaic and clerical Hebrew. I can't help but think we lost something in the translation. Lighting a cigarette against the pregnant darkness, I go for a walk. I'm cutting down, which is why I cut off the filter. Like a dog showing you its stomach, I send the tobacco a clear message. I trust you. People pass by
Hell
as I
yeah.
log into my
You can
Twitter
trust
vault
them. They're
and
good
send
guys.
out a
They'll
credible
take-
threat to a Minecraft YouTuber. For some of us,
Making a threat
it's
to a
not about the
Minecraft
recognition.
YouTuber.
It's about
Oh,
doing
no.
our part. This is a
Don't do
city
that. Bad things
never
happen when you
sleeps.
go Minecraft.
Nope.
Once I saw a man standing off the side of a pier, tears rolling down his eyes as he told me, I can't trust anyone. That's why I ride myself. He auto-filleted himself on the spot and rolled away like a meat-powered wheel. Never did catch his name. Scammers, tricks, open source developers. I've seen some sick things in my
Jesus.
time. My Kaizen V-Love Plus implant can instantly sniff out if someone's an incel or in a committed polycule. But more importantly, if they have any
What the
spare
fuck?
change, I don't beg for money. I just ask 19 times and that's it.
Yes,
My
spare
name
change.
is Seth Tech, private investigator, professional gang stalker. And this is my office
this
for the
game?
next 50 minutes.
oh,
After
Shadow of
that,
Doubt,
I
that's
gotta
right.
buy
I've seen
something.
people play
Why am
this
I
too.
telling you all this? Because together,
It's been a
we're
while
gonna
since-
clean up
I mean,
these
it hasn't been a
streets.
while, but
Hey
Seth is
gang,
going with
sorry,
regular
I've been
content again.
distracted.
Oh.
I kept staying up late playing Once Human, an all-new
God.
free-to-play post-apocalyptic
There we go,
open-world
there's the ad.
survival game releasing July 9th. The game takes place after a cosmic invasion has permanently transformed our world into the world of Skibbity Toilet.
Oh,
This
no.
is not a joke.
Oh,
You'll
no.
be fighting every
Not
zealous
again.
creepypasta from
Yeah, it
Siren
happened
Head
before, I
to a
remember.
refrigerator to an
Wow.
overly aggressive school bus.
Damn.
Everyday objects are no longer your friend, and you will die at the hands of a Funko Pop.
Fucking
However,
Skibbity
some of
Toilet.
these deviations can be tamed to help you fight, craft, and survive.
The
This
fuck-
is Pokemon
Oh.
through the lens of a man addicted to fentanyl. There's base building with full creative freedom, and PvP with up to 4,000 gamers in
Oh,
a single
God.
server. As absurd as this sounds, it's a lot of fun. I captured a bee, and now it pollinates my crops. The Semitic capitalist fears the self-sufficient rice farmer. And if
The
you're interested,
Semitic
you can download the
capitalist.
game on Steam using my
Oh,
link in
no.
the description below.
Wait up. He's on a motorcycle.
Hey,
It's free
hey,
on Steam,
people.
I can imagine
Seth
this.
here.
Oh God!
Oh, no.
What the hell?
Seth, no!
Shadows of Doubt takes place in an alternate
Seth, no!
timeline
Oh,
where
hi,
Ronald
Porky.
Reagan was crushed to death by his karmic debt. Thankfully, our new president, the Coca-Cola Company, has
The
continued
Coca-Cola
his
Company.
righteous task of filling ghettos with crack cocaine. Unfortunately, the definition has expanded. You are the ghetto. Tensions are high.
You are the
Crime is rampant. The only true justice is in the shadows. The shadows of doubt. But, I doubt that. I checked the shadows. You know what I found? Me stealing your diamonds, battering your wife, and reporting you for domestic abuse. It's nothing personal. I just need a higher social credit score so I can get out of this hellhole. The actual game is, on its face, a detective simulator. What's it simulating? Everything. Starting a new
Everything.
game generates an
Everything.
entire city, populates
Yes.
it with citizens that each have their own jobs, relationships, hobbies,
Good.
and of course, homicidal fantasies.
Oh,
Murder
boy.
is like romance in a male prison. It
God.
requires a perpetrator and a victim.
Ayo,
and everything
what?
in between is a trail of clues left in their
Trail of
wake.
clues.
Your job is to follow those clues, find the perp, and bring them to justice. Trademark. Brought to you by American Spirit, premium quality organic tobacco. So grab your trench coat, scoop out your cone cells with a spoon,
Oh,
and let's
God.
get to work. Step
Cone
one, we
cells.
need to
Not the
break
goon
into the
database.
scene and steal everything. It's what the victim would have wanted. After that, we can start looking for clues. Who died? How did they die? And when did they become dead? Make
When
sure
did
to
that
get their
happen?
prints while you're going through their wallet for loose change. Did they live
Music.
alone?
Again?
If not, find their partner's fingerprints. NPCs
Damn it.
aren't programmed to have friends. The only time they physically meet another person is to be murdered. So any unknown fingerprint is definitely the killer. Look around for anything they might have touched during entry or escape. Doorknobs, light switches, the inside of a woman's
infographics
toilet
really
bowl.
good.
Anything is possible. Did the killer leave a murder weapon or drop a calling card? We did the easy part. It only gets harder from here. But
Oh,
first,
boy.
the case board. As you work through a case, you can pin any relevant information to the board. As you collect more evidence, the game will automatically draw draw links between existing information. You can make diligent notes, use color-coded threads, and organize every possible lead. Or you can do none of that and pin random shit together and follow your schizophrenia. I can't
Great
solve
idea.
this mystery on the physical plane. I need crystal meth to go to Hyperborea and ask Yakub directly. And when you're done playing arts and crafts in an active crime scene, we can start looking for leads, check for handwritten notes, break into their computer and check for emails, open their address book, see if they made any recent calls. Now, it's about lunchtime, but we gotta get our hands dirty first. Find the landlord's office, break in, check their files on every tenant, then break into their computer and check the CCTV. Every security camera in the game takes photos every few minutes. Every image showing a person gets saved to a 24-hour buffer, so you want to get to it as soon as you can. As you go through the footage, you should recognize every tenant, so print out anyone unknown, anyone who went near the victim's house, and anyone remotely suspicious. Alright, now we can go to lunch. Now, we have plenty of leads to follow up. We need to find each potential suspect and cross-reference their information. Look, I'd love to keep holding your hand, but I can't. Each case is unique, so the best way to explain the game is to tell you what I've been through. The first time I ever played this game, I ignored all the instructions, opened a fridge, and ate raw pork. I got so nauseous I couldn't answer the telephone, and spent the next 10 minutes battling with the controls to try get in bed to sleep off of food poisoning. This was the tutorial, so the phone kept ringing the entire time. Then I talked to a random civilian, my hand slipped, and I accidentally tried to arrest him. Like hell you are, he said, before shooting me in the face. At this point, I was captivated. Because this game simulates a few hundred people at any given time, they're all quite stupid. Hey buddy, I'll pay you $100 to fuck off and let me trash your apartment.
Okie dokie. I'll just go back to sleep.
Wait, did you just shoot someone? You just shot someone. I apologize. This usually never happens. This town has the collective IQ of a developmentally challenged toddler, so the optimal play style is to be an antisocial menace. Sure, the game has stealth mechanics like alarm systems, air ducts, and lockpicking, but I don't have time for that.
Oh shit.
Hello, man.
Oh,
Have you
shit.
seen anyone suspicious? Uh-huh. Here, take this. Upgrades come in a form of sync discs, which alter your genetics to become a better fighter, better lover, and most importantly, a better consumer of starch
Sugar
cola.
daddy.
You're supposed to earn them from side jobs until you learn of a more effective method called beating the shit out of your neighbors and breaking into their safe. To top it all off, there's no long-term penalty for crime. Every exterior door is linked to a complex series of tubes that detects when I leave a building, sending out a pre-recorded YouTube apology that makes the population forget my actions. I can be caught in 4K murdering several people with a sword, but the instant I go outside, I'm a changed man. If you want something, take it, run away, and come back like nothing ever happened. Between this and the dirt cheap price of food and utilities, you can easily cover all your expenses by committing more crime than you actually solve. The only real use for money is buying property and playing with the bizarrely detailed furnishing system. And once you've played enough to create the ultimate male living space, you're ready to metagame. You see, murders have a cooldown between solving a case and a new murder happening. Sleeping will pass the time and gives a speed buff when you wake up. So you hop in bed, goon for 36 hours straight, and when you get a new murder notification, hop out of bed, break your own window, and plummet 20 stories to the streets below, which we survive because we're genetically modified to be immune to fall damage. Now you can use well rested to sprint to the crime scene while chugging your morning coffee. This is not only faster than the cops, it's often faster than the killer. Of course, the way you're meant to pass time between cases is side jobs. Think of each one as a sort of mini case with limited information. Because some information is more helpful than others, the difficulty is completely random. Oh, you want me to steal from someone but you only know his phone number? That's easy. I can just call the number and check the call box to see where it was routed to. Oh, he's on the floor below. We take those. But what about this one? I've only got his first initial, fingerprint, build, and blood type. Oh yeah, very helpful. At this point, you may as well tell me I'm looking for a circumcised male in a small town of New York. I could just go through the phone book for every name with the same initial, but I've got an even better idea. Go to City Hall and open up the government database. This has records of every single citizen in the game. You're meant to type at least 2 characters to get any results, but this includes space. Naturally, everyone has a last name, so everyone has space and a letter in their name. Now you can go through the entire database in alphabetical order and print out every single person's information. Eventually, whatever case you had will just solve itself. But we're not done. If you have the mental fortitude to sit there for a real-life half hour, congratulations. You just ruined the game. Now, your character will solve cases the nanosecond you get them. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the victim was poisoned by a stalker neighbor for not loving her enough, but the victim did manage to get a shot off before expiring. She can't go to the hospital, so she's probably limping home as we speak. That took less than 2 minutes. Personally, I don't use the government database. I get my evidence the old-fashioned way, following a woman home to her place of residence and hiding inside her septic tank until I expire. When they discover my body, the police One time I checked the victim's work computer and realized she cheated on her husband at the hotel he works at while he was visiting his sick mother. Oh, that sounds like a motive. I paid him a visit and bingo, he's not cooperating. Silence is violence and only the guilty refuse the law. So I did what any ethical private eye would do. Follow him into the bathroom and beat the shit out of him. He didn't do it. In hindsight, he was probably
He could have
just
done
rude
it,
to me
though.
because I had the same social credit as the homeless man I shanked on the way to work. Embarrassed, I resorted to using the method real cops use to catch killers. I sit on my ass eating donuts and wait for them to kill again, hoping the next murder is easier to solve. 11 donuts in, I get a notification, rush to the scene of a crime, and on my way there... Yeah, turns out it was just their IT guy who murdered her for being dead weight at her own company. In summary, there's a lot of jank in this game. Things will glitch and break. Black markets will randomly deny service even if you give a right password. And sometimes, all the foot traffic causes a congestion where everyone gets stuck on the same staircase and the only way to free them is by throwing hammers in their face. But for a game made by a small team of Albanian immigrants on the budget of a kidney stone, it's really impressive. There's no other game that captures the ambience of living in modern-day Shanghai, slurping my MSG noodles as I listen to the soft drizzle of acid rain. Many games struggle with procedural generation. Generally, I don't even like it. It's just another buzzword for infinite slop. But Shadows of Doubt succeeds because it creates nonsense. And because true crime will always be more bizarre than any simulation, the situations it creates are not only compelling, they're believable. And remember, Once Human launches on July 9th. Download the game for free right now. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild, generously funding and backgrounding these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one.
Oh, there we go. Peaches 88. Sorry, Peach 88.
It's
Oh, your
Yuki's
girlfriend.
turn. Quick, everyone hide. 1, 2, 3. Let's split up, Kirika.
Wow.
Okay, I'll go look for you later.
There's no way Yuki will find me here.
Found you.
Wow.
Yuki, how did you find me?
Of course I would find you, Billy. I'm always looking at you after all.
Huh?
Oh, she's the
Always.
rival.
You say some really funny things.
It's the truth, though.
Oh, her
You're
eyes.
the only one I got my eyes on.
She Yuki. Oh, she is Yuki. Oh, she is a Yuki.
Oh.
She's a nice woman.
Billy,
Yeah.
we're almost late. That's
Wow.
no good. Hey, get off of him, you ice.
Yep. She is a Yukiona.
If it isn't the problem, child, who do you think was cleaning after that mess you brought in? I don't remember asking you for help. Now get your hands off him. Billy,
Nope.
I've warned you before, but I'll say it again as many times so you would understand. A normal human like you will never be able to handle a barbaric demon like her.
Wow.
Damn.
She's also a demon, though. She's a Yukiona. They're both Oni.
Yuki,
Technically,
you
they're
can
both
stop
yokai.
now.
Why? It's the truth, isn't it? This woman, she'll hurt you again, you know. Because that's just in her nature.
Stop it!
Sorry, Billy. I'm just worried about...
Kirika, wait!
Yuki, we finished patrolling the school.
Wow.
Yuki?
Yep. Oh,
Oh,
she broke,
shit.
oh, she broke her nail,
Oh,
too.
shit.
Yeah. It's shattered like ice. That's funny.
I can fix her, though. Okay.
Dragon Tamer. Here we go.
Looks like I finally received your midterms.
Wow.
However,
The one that's the most
someone
behaved is a
seems
T
to
minus.
not be doing the best they can. Reiko, until you improve your grades, you're grounded from streaming, young lady.
Yep.
Damn it! I had big plans for this week's stream.
Oh, God.
What am I gonna do? Ugh, why are you such a dumbass, Reiko? Oh, wait. I know just who to call.
Oh, boy.
Hey, Ray, I got here as you called that you needed some help.
Yeah.
I make sure to brought up your book for each subject so we can thoroughly...
Just get in here, Nikki.
Wow. 1 hour later.
Phew, that was a good study sesh.
Oh no.
Thanks, Nikki. Now I'm
I thought that
extra
was gonna be
confident on
thought
that
it's
midterm.
Ah, so that's why you weren't live today.
No.
You said you had a game marathon happening, so...
Yeah, I did. I didn't know you watched my streams, Nikki.
Wow.
How often do you watch?
Oh, just a bit. Sometimes. Okay, all the time.
Wow, he watches her stream all the time.
Way to
Wow.
push yourself ahead.
Angry Foot is absolute chaos. There we go, I saw this
Angry
game.
Foot.
Look at this shit. Boom.
What? That's an angry foot.
Angry Foot. Damn. Boom, boom.
How?
Yeah.
He's really going to town on these
It
guys.
is. Oh. Damn. That shot was beautiful. Was that a trolley? What the? Oh my god, he got an SMG.
Again.
Over the last week
Again.
or so, I've had this bizarre affliction where I found myself compelled to go around kicking down every door I see. And luckily, I've found just the remedy with Free Live's new
Oh,
game
damn,
called
look
Anger
at that
Foot.
art.
A game about a man
That's
with a
right.
similar predilection to removing doors off their hinges with the bottom of his feet.
Okay, do they need to live?
Yeah,
No.
from the developers of Gorn
No.
and the awesome
That was Black
Broforce
Dynamite.
comes the equally kick-ass Angerfoot, a lightning-fast action FPS
Damn.
where the only thing's harder
kicked
than
so
your
hard his
feet is the
shoe's gone.
thumping hard bass soundtrack. And if you've been thinking to yourself lately that the E
Where
button
we're
on
going,
your
we don't
keyboard
need
hasn't been put to
shoes.
enough use, well, then this is the game for you. Yeah,
the
so this
soundtrack's
is
hard.
another one of
I
those
like it.
slam dunk titles, I think, for the indie shooter scene.
Oh,
And
yeah,
while some
it
of the more
looks good.
repetitive
I
and
like it.
tedious mechanics here
I
might
gotta
turn
buy
away
it
some
sometime in the
people,
future.
the
Not
overarching
anytime
shooter fan
recent. I'll wait
demographic
for
is
another
really
big
going to
sale
enjoy
again,
their
and
time
I'll
spent
buy
with
it.
this one.
But yeah,
So
it
if
looks
once
good.
again all you want to know is whether or not this one is worth your hard-earned buckaroonies, well, then I can say
It looks
yet again that
interesting.
yes,
I like it.
it is.
Damn.
Right, so I still don't really know how to properly describe this one. I guess it's like first-person Hotline Miami
Yeah, I was
meets
gonna say it
John
has some
Wick
Hotline
and
Miami
Adult Swim
elements to it.
cartoons. Stories you're playing as the aptly named Angerfoot, a dude living in the so-called Shit City, which is overrun with
Shit
crime
City.
and corruption.
There's only one rule in Shit City. Crime is the law.
All our protagonist wants to do, though, is just collect cool-looking sneakers and hang out at home with a pizza and his vaping girlfriend. You know, living the dream. However, during the prologue, after he's just finally completed his collection of primo sneakers, they're suddenly stolen and then divided up amongst the bosses of the 4 major crime gangs in the city.
Wow. Look at that
You got
guy.
the violence gang, the pollution gang, the business gang, and then finally the debauchery gang. Who all kind of sound like villains out of an old episode of Captain Planet.
All these goons answer to the Crime Minister.
And each of these
Crime
gangs has
Minister.
their own unique looking areas with a crack house, sewers, office buildings, and then an underground
Hell
nightclub.
yeah.
Yeah, truly 4 of the all-time staples of video game environments. It all just kind of reminds me of the same kind of bizarre cartoonish energy we got in 90s games like Earthworm Jim and Boogerman.
Love it.
Hell
What
yeah.
this all basically equates to in gameplay is that you got 4 separate zones to get through, with each zone having about a dozen or so different levels and then ending in its own unique boss fights.
Well, yeah.
All of which are against these different leaders of the gang who all give up one of these 4 primo sneakers.
My sneaks.
Where are my snakers?
And then
Right,
as for the
sneakers.
moment-to-moment gameplay, well, the Golf Ridge level is just to find your way to the exit, which more or less involves moving in a single direction while avoiding or killing everything along the way. You can survive a couple of shots before dying and stay out of harm's way for a few
Holy
seconds, and your
shit.
health is even going to regenerate to let you keep going. Which actually goes a long way in keeping the levels flowing and removing a lot of frustrating restarts. seeing as it's common knowledge that door handles are for losers, every door between you and that next room has to be kicked down.
That's right.
And kicking can also kill enemies in a single hit, which is kind of handy if you don't have a weapon or just want to conserve ammo.
Holy shit. Alright, calm down.
And speaking of weapons, they've really gone for a whole quality over quantity kind of lineup, with the three main ones you'll be using being the pistol, an SMG, and a shotgun.
Nice.
Now the pistol is by far the most common and has a low ammo count, but is the most accurate, making it really handy for firing in quick succession. The SMG, on the other hand, has a bigger magazine size, but then it also comes with a lot more recoil and isn't nearly as accurate from a distance.
Well, yeah, because an SMG is supposed to be up front in your face.
Then you got the shotgun, which has a wider spread, but again, a lower ammo count. And to more or less just need to kind of aim this thing in the general direction of a bad guy, and then the rest will just sort itself out.
Confetti.
As far as FPS shotguns go as well, this one ticks all the boxes. And it makes short work of whoever's dumb enough to be standing on the business end. Later on in the game, you'll also eventually get an assault rifle, a grenade launcher, dual revolvers, a crossbow, and even a goddamn minigun. But those original three are by far the ones which are going to get the most mileage.
Well, yeah. They'll be your bread and butter in the game.
It's not that those other weapons aren't any good. In fact, it's actually kind of crazy how quickly that minigun can shred up a group of enemies.
Holy shit.
But I don't know, man. Like, you just can't beat the classic effectiveness of a good old-fashioned pistol, SMG, shotgun.
Boom.
About the only weapon I just found to be really piss weak here was the flamethrower, which genuinely might be one of the worst flamethrowers I think I've ever seen in a video game. I mean, this thing does everything you'd expect a flamethrower to do, but the only issue is that it doesn't seem to affect enemies hit by the fire, and they'll still run right through this stuff like it's a slap on the ass. Which, you know, just kind of removes that whole crowd control element you'd really expect and want a weapon like this to have.
Yeah, you would.
Not to mention as well that it just kills the pacing when you got to stand there for like 10 seconds waiting for that fire to dissipate so you don't burn your feet.
Yeah. Hey,
By the way, though, all of these weapons can be thrown at any time with the right mouse button, which has the nice benefit of stunning anyone hit by it. And when you're unarmed, weapons on the ground will instantly be picked up by the player, ready to be put right to use. So it pretty quickly becomes that seamless loop of taking someone out, grabbing their gun, and continuously moving. Repeating the cycle whenever you're out of ammo and mashing that E button on any door or an enemy that's dumb enough to get in your way. What also kind of helps as well is that this game has some really helpful visual and audio design, insofar as the way that the enemies look. So you can instantly see an enemy type and know exactly what you're coming up against.
Gotcha.
So when you see those lizard guys, for instance, you know right away that they're only armed with melee weapons and not going to be that much of a threat. When you see the guys in the hoodies of the tracksuits, well, then you know that you're about to get shot at with a pistol or an SMG. One enemy type has this giant, cartoonish-looking bomb for a head, which is kind of hard to miss. And kicking these dudes back instead of shooting them is going to turn them into your own personal exploding ragdoll.
And boom. Nice.
And then the ones you can throw grenades have a very distinct audio cue, and one of those things is cooking up, giving you ample time to get out of the way or, you know, kick those grenades back.
I'll kick your nade back. Fuck you.
Music is dynamic as well, and also escalates whenever you're in combat, really highlighting that there's active threats that you need to be wary about. It all just comes together to really make it easier to glance to know what kind of threat you're coming up against, and really decide what kind of approach you want to take. Which, you know, is kind of important in a game like this where you can enter a room and be faced with 3 or 4 different enemy types at once.
That's right.
Plus, I just really appreciate how funny and interesting some of these designs are. Like seeing pigeons holding full body-sized riot shields, for instance.
Oh my god.
Or those super tough, armored-up teddy bears with miniguns who, funnily enough, can be beaten by just kicking them a bunch of times.
Wow.
It's just like every aspect of Angerfoot's presentation feels unique, and those brief intermission levels where you can just walk around and explore the area, chatting to NPCs for completely useless information, I don't know, man, it just kind of goes a long way in giving the game a lot more character, even down to the way that the enemies more or less do their version of teabagging by mocking the player by dancing when you're killed.
Oh, they do. Look at that. They're dancing. Hard
I think the
yep.
biggest compliment I can give you
Hell
is that
yeah.
this thing is running in the Unreal Engine 4, but it doesn't look like
Your
it.
girlfriend.
Kind of find that a
There
lot of
she is.
UE4 games have this look to them,
No,
which just
they
makes them
don't.
instantly recognizable, but Angerfoot doesn't seem to suffer from that problem. And it's definitely the best portrayal of shit city
wait,
I've ever
maybe they
seen in a
start having
video game.
problems. Well, they do.
Now, all up in Angerfoot, you're looking at about 60 or so levels to get through in total, with the overall goal being to reclaim your original stolen property.
Wow.
However, throughout the campaign, you're also frequently unlocking new shoes.
Yeah.
You start off with only a basic pair, which offers up pretty much no benefits at all, but then the further you get into the game, the more
More
you
shoes you
eventually
get,
start to unlock. The way it
Hell
works
yeah.
here is that you get a single star for beating a level, but then each level has a couple of optional requirements for a further 2 stars. And then with every 5 stars in total, you unlock a new shoe. It's kind of similar to the masks in Hotline Miami, with some of these giving you really useful benefits and perks, whereas others just kind of seem to be there for novelty value. One pair of shoes, for instance, makes it so that every door you kick in explodes,
That's
blowing up
cool.
anyone standing on the other side.
I like
now,
that.
this is pretty cool visually, but often more dangerous than it's worth, considering you also take splash damage from that explosion.
Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah.
There's a pair of shoes that gives all the enemies giant heads, making headshot requirements a lot
that's
easier.
that's
And also
classic video
reminded me a
gaming.
lot of playing GoldenEye
Oh, yeah.
007. Another pair of
it
shoes
reminds me more of
completely
Turok
messes
because
with
they
the
had
gravity
big
to the
head
point
mode
where
too.
you can
Hell
outright
yeah,
fly around
Turok big head
levels,
was
and
great.
props and enemies float in
Disco
the
mode
air
Turok
like
was
in
fun,
Max
too.
Payne 2 when you maxed
Especially
out
with
the
the
bullet
shit
time
arrow.
meter.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I also appreciate the size 3 shoes, which greatly reduces the player's height, kind of making it feel like you're now playing the game as some kind of murderous gnome, and really let us see
That's
what
one
the world
day.
looks like from Dave Oshry's perspective. And then probably what's going to be one of the best shoes for speedruns with the Rage Runners, where you get this short burst of adrenaline every time you kick a door down, making it
Damn.
really handy when you're going through rooms quickly.
Holy shit, you're pretty rad.
Boy's got to go somewhere.
Damn. I guess so.
The Soul Sucker shoes basically turns the game into Post Void or Mullet Mad Jack, increasing your resistance to damage, but then also adding in a 5-second timer where you have to constantly keep making kills to stay alive.
Oh.
Which honestly makes it a really fun and alternative way to play the game, constantly forcing
Like
you to
that.
play aggressively, but then also allowing it, reducing your chance of being killed so often and letting you really powerhouse your way through the levels. In fact, there's specific requirements for certain levels to beat them in a strict time limit, along with killing every single enemy. And I genuinely don't think it's going to be
It reminds
possible
me
for
a
some
little
of
bit
these
just
without
because
wearing
of
those
that
shoes.
I've been playing this game called Neon White recently.
Sadly,
Right.
though,
Yeah,
I
I've been
did find
seeing
the
that.
so-called Primo
Neon
shoes to
White's
be a bit
like a,
underwhelming. Now, these are the ones you
puzzle
get from the
kinda
bosses,
shooter
and
game,
really
time
only
shooter
a couple of them are
So you have,
actually
like,
Right.
good.
elements and stuff
The first
like
ones you get let you charge up a powerful
you
kick
do have,
that
like,
also
a time
launches
limit to
you
actually
forward.
get, like, ranking in it, if you want gold,
And then
you
the
have to get,
final
like, a
pair of
certain
shoes you
time and stuff
unlock
like
gives
that.
you limited
I tend
bullet
to go
time
through it
after
first and
entering
just
each
get
new
bronze,
room.
then go
And
through
yeah, these two are kind of
and,
fun, I
then try to
guess,
go for
but you
gold,
never
which I
really
usually
have to
do
use
get.
either of these to
That takes a minute for me
progress,
to level up
outside of
and
maybe
do
like
all the
one
stuff with that,
instance
right?
where the charge kick is needed for a level requirement.
But then you also have to get like a quest, the optional quest thing with your friends and stuff.
As
that
for
you
some
have
of
in
the other
game.
shoes, well,
Because
some of
okay.
those are
old
also
code stuff, you're
completely
trying to, like, get
pointless.
your memories
And it
back
is
of
kind
who
of
you
annoying, to be
actually
honest, to be
were as a
working towards
person,
that
so
next
that's a bigger
unlockable,
thing in the
only for
story
it to be
too.
something as useless
It
as
has,
a pair of fucking clown
has
I
shoes.
like that.
Yeah, it has some
My
kind of little
disappointment
bit of like a mafia kind of
immeasurable.
thing with but anime style. with how
And
it
my day
looks.
is ruined.
The
So-
stilettos,
hell
for
yeah.
instance,
Yeah.
add in this weird mechanic where bullets
and,
no
the main
longer
voice
kill enemies
actor
and
of the
instead
game
only
is,
stun them.
Steve
So throwing your weapon at enemies is the only lethal option.
Steve
But again,
Blum.
like outside
Yes.
of a couple of levels
Most
where you
people know him
have
as
to
the
wear them
voice
to earn
actor
a
for
star, I
Spiegel.
can't imagine why you'd ever bother.
Hell
One unlockable
yeah.
is a
That's who
pair
it
of
is, but
pluggers
he
or
is not-
flip-flops,
the thing
and
I
this
will
makes all
always
the enemies
criticize
drunk
people
and
for.
less accurate,
Perfect voice
which
for
yeah,
Spike.
sounds awesome
He
on
does it for
paper,
every
only
other
it
voice
also
he's
has
ever
that
done
same
in
effect to the
anything else,
player.
though, too.
You know,
Hell
completely
yeah.
removing
Like
any
that is
benefit that
never
might
changed,
have had.
not his voice, because that voice
Why
changed.
change perspective?
No, I get you, but it's just the fact like if you're supposed to
However,
be a
I
quote-unquote
will say
voice
though that it does
actor,
capture that feeling
you're
quite
just using
well
the
of
same
what it's
voice.
like after you've had one too many
That
drinks
comes,
and
like, for
just
all
need
these
to find a
different
soft
characters,
spot
it's
to
always
lie
something
down
for
and
me.
pass out in your own vomit.
Actual
Still
in-game
though, a
footage.
lot of the longevity in Angerfoot is going to
Um,
come from wearing these.
the other voice
Considering
he's
that there's
basically
level
known for, too,
requirements
is,
there that
Tom
you
from
literally
Tsunami,
can't do
because that's
unless you've
obviously
unlocked
the same
some
Hell
of them.
yeah.
Some levels might have a challenge, for instance, where you have to beat it without jumping, which is impossible
yes,
without
he is
wearing
the
the
main voice
anti-gravity
actor for our-
shoes.
your main
And
character
one
who you play,
speedrun
which is
challenge
Neon
is also impossible without wearing the size 3s.
This is big brain time.
Big brain time. That's what this game reminds me of too, because it doesn't have like the.
Oh yeah, man.
changing,
And speaking of these
guns that do
challenges,
di-
a
I
few
mean,
of
it
these
does,
just seem
but it doesn't, 'cause those
absolutely
guns are, like,
fucking
cards you use
sadistic.
and,
like the ones where
actually
you need
go
to
through
beat
the
an
game, too.
entire level without
That's what
taking a
this
single
reminds me of. It
hit.
gives me
Yeah,
Neo
you know,
White
in the
vibes.
same
That's kinda
level where there's going to be a
why I
couple
wanna
of
buy this
dozen
one,
rats
too.
armed with butterfly knives chasing after you.
Jesus.
Or some of them where you need to get through them without killing a single enemy. Again, in another level where you get rushed by like a bazillion blade-wielding rats. You can also bet your bottom dollar that if there's going to be a requirement for a certain amount of kills or headshots, that you have to do it without missing a single enemy. But you know what? It's like, in the game's defense though, that's really the only way they could have included any serious longevity. Considering otherwise that most people are just going to blast their way through this thing in about 4 or 5 hours.
The same
You know,
with,
that being
you know,
4 or 5
their
hours of often
challenge that they
repeating the
kinda
same
have.
stages
Like,
numerous
you can't get
times.
further in the actual game itself unless you've actually, like,
And that's
gotten
also
gold
definitely
and
one
stuff
major
to be
thing
higher
worth
in
mentioning
your
about
ranking.
Angerfoot 2,
think
is
my
that it's
ranking
very
is
much again
currently at,
focused
like,
around trial and error.
23,
Don't let that camera perspective
'cause
fool you,
I'm,
man.
like,
This is
near
not
done
a
with the game.
boomer
Well, not
shooter
near
in
done, but I
any
have, like,
sense. It's not even like really any other shooter that's come out this
technically they
year.
give you 10
It
days,
really is
right?
much
That's what they
more
give you,
akin
10
to
days,
something
so
like
you have, like,
Hotline
all of it,
Miami,
you have to go
where
through
death
10
can be
days.
sudden and often as
I
well
think I am now
completely
on
fucking
day,
confusing. Where you just sit there
like,
staring
3
at that
days
game
left till
over
it's over.
screen trying to figure out what happened. In that way, it also kind of reminds me a lot of Broforce, how you'd often just be randomly killed when a nearby explosion somehow found its way into your direction. And that is again what Angerfoot often feels like. It's kind of like you're at the mercy of this chaotic evil experience, where physics, random AI, and all these mechanics feel different
rat
every
fucking
single
got him.
time you attempt a new run.
Oh, that guy slid across
I mean, like,
the floor.
don't get me wrong, there's definitely an element here about the player being actually skillful at the game, and if your basic aim is good and you have situational awareness, well, you'll probably do fine. But also, a really big part of it is just knowing what you're getting yourself into level to level. Because you're never really going to know what's around that next corner the first time you play it,
probably
which results
someone
in
who's gonna
lots of
shoot ya.
deaths that you quite literally can't see coming.
So,
I think the proper
also, the
term for
game
this
has, like,
is
a lot
rote
of 90s
memorization.
references to it,
Basically,
too.
it's like the idea of
Some
just
of the
doing
characters.
something
Oh, hell
over and
yeah.
over
Yeah.
until it
So,
all finally starts to
There's
click.
a
And although you'll
part
definitely
where
get through some of these
basically
levels on your
you get,
first
like,
attempt,
something called like Heavenly Delight tickets, right, which give you rewards, like
Mhm.
the cutscenes in the game to just like watch stuff. One of the ones you get earlier on is like White goes to a movie theater to watch a movie, and the movie he's fucking watching is The Matrix.
attempt
They can't
Oh,
say
where
The
Jesus.
Angerfoot
Matrix.
really
You
shines
can
is
say
when you go back
names
and
from The
replay
Matrix,
through
but
these
you
with
can't
the
do the title
foresight of
The
knowing what's
Matrix.
ahead. You might look at some of the
There's
clips in my
also a
video and
reference to
think I'm making the
McDonald's
game
at
look
some
pretty
point, too.
easy, but what I'm not showing you is the 20 runs
you
that
can't
happened
say
prior to that.
McDonald's.
You know,
You just have
before
to
all the
give mention of
pieces
what
finally
people
fell
would know
into
because you're
place.
talking about
Where I
something,
finally got
you know
into
what I
that perfect groove of knowing which
So I guess
weapons to pick
copyright.
up, which enemies to focus on, not to mention the
Can't just
actual
say
route
these
I
things.
needed to take. Considering
That's
how
not
easy it
funny.
is to often get confused during all the chaos. And I just think it's pretty important to mention all of this, because I'd wager that people looking at this gameplay in action are going to think that it looks like an absolute blast.
It does.
Which it is, but
Yeah.
that cathartic feeling of finally blitzing a level isn't something that's going to happen right away. I mean, let's just be honest, you're going to die a lot here. Countless times. And the further you get into the game, the more challenging it's going to become.
Well,
as
yeah.
some of those later levels are absolutely insane in the kind of situations you start to get thrown in. Now, having said all of that, is that a bad thing?
No.
Absolutely not. And all of this is by design.
Yes.
I mean, there's even a button on the keyboard bound to instantly restarting the level when you screw up. I guess my
Just like
point,
the
though,
NY, you
is
can
if
do
the
the same
premise of
thing
having to
too. If
replay
you screw up
something
at
a
any point, you can
dozen
restart.
times before you finally get it right, for these 60-odd levels all up in the entire
And you know,
game, doesn't
see it in
sound
the counter too. There's a counter of like how long you've been in the level. That's something the NY has
like
as
your
well.
cup of tea. Well, then I don't think
No.
anything else I'm going to
Sign up
say
for
here is
NY.
going to convince you otherwise.
You'll get medals depending on how
What's
long it
actually
is.
kind of funny as well is that I found the boss fights to be the easiest parts of the game. And with the exception of one of these, I beat them all on my
Sludge
first
Baron.
attempt, which is actually pretty shocking considering
Not the
otherwise
Sludge
how long
Baron.
some of those standard levels bogged me down. Still though, complaining about a trial and error game that is literally designed around trial and error is kind of dumb. I get it. It's like complaining about grass being green, water being wet, or, you know, your mother being a trollop. And about really the only major issue I had with Angerfoot is just how random the physics can often be.
Look over there, then you respawn over here. Oh, Oh, no, a tank blew up. A tank that was right there.
Bullshit!
Mostly in the way that weapons or items you might be trying to get to can be hurled around into weird places at times, just kind of due to the utter randomness of everything going on. I did also have some minor performance issues, with the frame rate becoming kind of choppy at times, but outside of these minor niggling issues, the game seemed to run pretty smooth, which is doubly impressive given the amount of stuff that's happening on screen. But at the end of the day, this is still another pretty easy recommendation. And I think that even with this kind of niche style of repetition-focused gameplay, Angerfoot is just insanely fun and unique overall. And despite this game often bringing my piss to an absolute boil, I just kept coming back, man, time and time again. Is it going to shake up the entire industry or evolve the genre in any kind of meaningful way? Well, no, it ain't. But you know what?
Like
Sometimes all you really want to do is go around kicking sewerage thugs in the chest and cuddle up next to your digital girlfriend to eat some pizza.
Pizza.
Alright. 3 more videos.
Hell
and we're
yeah.
done. Time to be traumatized, chat, for this one.
Traumatized, yay.
Yeah. Shouting is fun.
Hi there.
Oh god.
Welcome to the company.
Oh no.
My name is Sandy. Nice to meet you. I know it's your first day and all, but well, you look really cool. You know what day it is, right? You want to watch a movie on my sofa after work?
My sofa?
Or my bed.
Wow.
It's super comfy.
That's
I can cook too.
Wow. Desperation. Anyway.
I mean...
Family reunited. Here we go.
Honey, kids, we have a visitor here. Where are my precious little dragons hiding at?
Grandpa!
Whoa, you guys grow so fast.
He's old now.
Don't forget about me. That old man didn't come here all by himself.
Aunt Emmy!
Oh, yeah.
Been a while, Dragon Rider.
Of course, I've always bring some gifts with me.
Wow!
Whoa.
Wow,
Cool.
Yakuza shit.
Are they okay to have those, dear?
I had my first katana when I was 3.
Wow.
Don't worry about it.
Thanks, Grandpa.
Wow.
Long time no see, brat. Grandma.
You're still alive?
You're still alive?
Just as shocked as you are.
Wow.
Anyway,
yeah.
how things back home at Japan?
Well, come on.
Well, ever since you left for Yakuza, many from the clan followed. The rest decided we turn to a charity group and help the citizens.
Wow.
It's not a bad job after all.
Wow.
Also, we're planning to visit an old friend in Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii.
Huh, I see.
There are
That's
a lot
good.
of Japanese people in Hawaii.
What
A lot
about
of
you,
Asian people in
Amy?
Hawaii, you know?
I know you're always reckless, but what happened to your eye?
Oh, this?
Oh, it's
I'm
fake.
just wearing an eye patch because it makes me look cool and badass.
Wow.
Doesn't that make it harder to move around?
You kidding me? I can see perfectly fine. Oh,
Wow.
Auntie's clumsy as usual.
Wow. She clumsy. Alright, last video.
Clumsy.
Last video, everybody.
Oh shit. You are the blob of deflection.
Space Station 13. Everyone's the last call because we're on the last video. Still no one changed my name. I did change that. I don't know why I did that. Thanks, YouTube. This is our pet blob.
Secret is safe.
Oh, he's just a silly boy.
That's right.
What the hell? He friendly.
He's friendly.
Yeah, he friendly.
We friends. friends with Blubble.
We friends with Blubble. You friendly. Feed him, you're dead.
He said to blow.
Friendly.
Felt bad for him.
Friendly blobbing station. Look at him go.
Yeah, it's friendly blob. Don't worry
Friendly
about it.
infectious blob.
You can do it, Blubber.
Pet blob. Blob automatically attacks nearby tiles.
Just trust the blob, guy. Like,
He's our
he's your friend.
Yes,
Uh-oh, fire started.
you there. Please be nice.
Please be nice to him. Don't be mean. Sasha. Damn it. Why do you keep knocking those down? Those are my pogs. My old pogs I have around. Why are you knocking them down, Alpha?
He's just playing.
You broke my toy.
He's just playing.
He needs to be judged in the court.
Oh,
How happy he is.
come on, silly
Come on,
guy.
he's a friend. Look at him. He's just a little guy. He's just a kooky little guy.
Captain, we
Silly
need a
boy.
trial for the blob.
Trial for the blob. No.
The fuck?
The fuck.
Blubber has made it safely to Arbage.
See, blob is love.
That's right. Blob is life.
Get in there.
It didn't bite that console.
It didn't work.
Yeah,
Okay now. What? Whoa.
You retract.
Anyone hurting the blob?
Okay, dude.
It's a cabinet announcement.
Thanks, darling.
See, like everyone's spinning and laughing. The blob
That's
is
right.
just bringing joy.
That's right, he is.
He's definitely not up to evil shit.
Why is
Much
this
like
suddenly-
Porky at a pierogi bar. Definitely up
Which one is
good.
real?
Definitely not no good.
No good.
Totally good. Hey guys, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play
Tastes
Far
like
Cry
rain
and be the
toast.
hero, Mr. Cry himself.
Mr. Cry.
Can I get rid
Ah.
back.
Oh, I think the blob's actually
Got him.
eating someone. Or is there two blobs?
Oh, you know if one blob is love, two blobs is like super love.
Yeah, they're the real deal. Oh, there's more.
Blobs did nothing wrong.
Hey,
Not
bro,
killing blob. They're protecting him.
Yes, good.
Now there can join.
Now with the magic carpets, you can't kill him.
Give it some space.
Give him some space.
All right, look, more blobs.
No problem.
I'm kind of
Blob
tempted to
doesn't
put
generate
it down
points.
for the fun.
Don't do it for the funnies. Leave
Don't
Blobby
do it.
alone.
He's just a little guy. Just leave him alone.
Watch it how
Oh wow, I just realized they changed the layout of Watch Together.
Yeah, they did.
I don't like it.
you're
I hate it
having
too.
our guy here.
Some space.
I mean, I like that it's not like white in my eyes like it normally is.
Yeah, but it's still
But
common
it
and
the
trans.
layout looks like ass.
It looks ugly, I know.
I don't know what's going on.
Early.
Me either. I don't know what's going on either.
Quick take a photo of me. Mr. Blubber.
People who are shooting at him.
He's mad at the people shooting.
You
at him.
can't bring
machines near it. It doesn't like those.
They don't like the machines. Stop it.
So I think by the next game stream, I'll have all the DLC for Endless Space. So.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Well, I gotta finish my 2 Frodo. I just remembered. Fuck, that is a thing.
Yeah, I was stuck over nowhere with nothing happening. So I got
Hey,
stuck.
listen, I would rather have nothing happening than to be constantly poor 24/7.
That's right.
You can only feed your citizens ramen so many times before they get angry.
Well, just like I said, they're all Chinese.
I did, and they're still mad. I know.
I know what you have to do. You gotta feed them themselves. That's the real story. Good blob.
Ah, yeah. Or how about Soylent Blob?
That's right.
Made with 100% organic, not blob. Yeah. And does the blob have his own security detail?
Wow. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, right? Oh shit. I think he's dead.
Wasn't even a blob. The blob's right there.
The emergency shuttle has docked with the station.
Let me make a play, friend. Don't stand the next
Space-time
See,
anomalies
it's all fish, it
detected
won't
on the
count.
station. There is no additional data.
Oh, this is the captain speaking. Gene's casting spells in the back. Please be careful.
Hey, I am, and I'll do more. Let's do a soul Calvinacrum. I'm sure that's fine.
No!
Oh shit, I opened a world at like multiple hells. I hope that's okay.
Every fucking flight with this guy.
That's right. Hey, at least you don't have to sing this time. That was awful.
That was terrible. There was 3 suicides. You did that.
Yeah. I don't know why someone
Those were meant. They were playing bongo drums with skulls, Gene.
I literally put in soothing jazz band.
They filleted a guy. We watched it.
Yeah, they did.
Smoked him right off the bone. Terrible.
I didn't think they could get like the bones they were using before they were so hot to do that, but they did. That's something.
Yeah, we're still putting out the legal fires from this thing.
Yeah, there were a lot of fires legally and physically.
Attention, new command report created.
Our problem. That's what it was.
Yeah, I get that. I just don't know why it did that. I don't know what that did.
You told him to.
No, I told him to make a rousing speech, and then he decided to kill people.
No, you said burn all within your reach.
Oh,
Yeah, you did. You did do that.
Attention.
That's not bad, though. Your Honor, I'd like to call daisies to trial. I didn't mean to say that. I misspoke.
Oh shit. Star witness. Ace witness. Oopsie daisy. Oh yeah. The blob is love. Blob is life.
The blob core falls to a chasm.
Fucking
Anyway, with that,
blobs.
with that, we now come to the end of Fans of Fiction. I'd like to thank everyone who came along, everyone who's still here too. I'd like to thank Weeb for sticking through with me as well, like he usually
Hey,
always
thanks
did.
for having me.
That's right. Always a pleasure. I'm going to do a little shilling and then we'll be fully done. Don't forget the movie caption contest, movie picture, movie hangman going to Discord, so be sure to do that when you're not busy in the arena, doing all the arena things you do, or the bulk area, playing that game. Tomorrow at 9 p.m. back here will be, no, 9, sorry, 8:30 p.m. My bad, I don't know why I said that. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I was so used to saying it a long time ago. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, there will be a Fans of Fiction, not a Fans of Fiction, Case of the Mondays. There will not be a Fans of Fiction until 2 weeks from now. Because then me and we will be playing some more Endless Space, like we said.
That's right.
Endless Space 2. So we get looking forward to that. Anyway, with all that being said, have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.